I am Abigail Posner, and I am a tech executive. That's what I do by day, which means I work at Google and I am the director of US Creative Works. But I also love to speak about and write about topics around culture and creativity and innovation and technology. And in fact, I also have a podcast where I get to do that with such interesting people called Human Code by Abigail Posner. Well, actually, it's contributed to so many different aspects of my life, but certainly I took it with me to advertising, where I was a brand planner for many, many years. You see, anthropology is basically the study of why people do what we do, why we eat what we eat, or wear what we wear, or trade what we trade. And then I brought that to the advertising space, where I had to understand why people buy what they buy, everything from soda to makeup. And in fact, I brought it to Google too, is to understand why we do what we do with technology. And then even today, my teams really drill into understanding human beings in order to create the best possible messaging for YouTube. Well, honestly, it came from my youth. Because here I was the youngest child in a family that was very, very smart when it came to science and math. And I wasn't necessarily gifted that way. And so I realized I needed a way to stand out. And so I needed an edge. And so what I started doing was kind of connecting what I did have, the talents I did have in my life, in order to have me stand out. And I brought that notion, I used it in college, and then I brought it to Google, where I was steeped in this world of technology, which I didn't really know a ton about, but I knew a ton about anthropology. And so I was able to connect my differences, my anthropology side to my technology side. And I started coming up with new ways of thinking that no one had ever thought of. And that sparked an aha moment, because you see, creativity is essentially connecting unlike notions and concepts. And so, can we do the same thing with people? Can we tap all of our different talents and skill sets, even if we think they're not related, but actually you can find a connection among anything? Our brains are hardwired to do that. So if you can find a connection, just like I did with anthropology and technology, think about how many different interesting, unique connections we can develop in our own in ourselves and then in our teams, and what that can then lead to. So it's embracing the expansiveness, all the different talents and skill sets and interests you have to come up with a new notion. Obviously, creativity, since that's so integral to me, creativity is so essential for everybody to innovate. But the question is, can you be creative if you're not a creative director, or if you're not a designer? Well, the fact is, we are all inherently creative. This is what separates us from other species. But do we know how to tap that sense of creativity? And so there are different ways I have observed over the years, whether through my anthropology, my background in advertising, sociology, neurology, neuroscience, all these different aspects of our brains. If we can tap all those different skills and elements, we can actually really surface that sense of creativity. And then, and in fact, I talk about this in Cracking the Creativity Code. And then you take that and you merge that with really embracing your expansiveness and connecting these different aspects of yourself to a challenge you have in front of you. And all of that enables you to be creative. And in fact, in this now AI, I don't want to say dominating yet, but soon to be kind of AI enveloped world that we're in, we're not going to necessarily need people to do things that they used to have to do, all the rote activities. So now there's more time to spend on creativity, and there's more time for us to, as human beings, all of us, to really tap into that innate sense of creativity to unleash new ideas and to stand out. Well, I'm so glad you asked this question, because it helps me plug a study we did. We did this a year and a half worth study at Google, all about the future state of the creative industry. And what we saw was that there were two main thrusts two main areas of growth. One is AI, no surprise, and the other is the creator economy. By the way, 80% of people have created something and put it online. Right now, it could be just an Instagram post or it could be a video on YouTube. I mean, that's astounding, right? And that's just today. So there is obviously this interest and excitement around the creator economy. And the fact is, everybody is participating in it. So it's just going to get bigger and bigger, and the tools are getting better and better. I would never have been a podcaster 10 years ago, but because of all the tools and technologies we have in front of us, we can all be creators. When I was in Cannes a few months ago, I led a panel full of creative directors and advertisers, and the question was, can we all be creators? And there was interesting debate there. But the fact is, there's no question, it is just going to grow and extend, and I'm finding that super exciting. Absolutely. One of the most important things a brand needs to do, and it's really hard, and we hear it, but it's really hard to do, is be authentic. We all hear that. What does that mean to be authentic? Well, the good news is creators are the epitome of authenticity. They don't go to creator school. They are just themselves. They are just themselves amplified or magnified. So when creators partner with brands, brands have an instant sense of credibility and authenticity with whatever audience they're trying to reach because it's through that creator. The other thing that brands can learn is how to relinquish some control over the story development process, right? Because once you do that, when you put your brand in the hands of a creator, and obviously you're going to partner with them, but when you put your brand in the hands of a creator, they interpret it, and you have to be okay with that, right? So you share some principles and points of view, and you wouldn't connect with them or partner with a creator that you don't feel like is consistent with your brand values, but still you have to let go. And that's actually a very hard at first, but really liberating concept of letting go of the scripting. So the authenticity, the scripting, I mean, a great example of that is some work we did with Volvo recently, where they partnered with two amazing musicians to bring to life their new plug-in hybrid, the XC60, and it was amazing. Yeah, I have definitely gotten a lot of requests for speaking about creativity and innovation because, in this age of AI and also just total transformation, how do you stand out as a brand? How do you grow as a brand? Incremental changes can only do so much. So teams and companies and organizations, they want to learn how to be creative and be innovative. The other thing is they want to motivate their teams. And so I speak a lot about how creativity can do that, but also I wrote recently an article about energy and how to infuse a sense of energy in your teams. So it's really about galvanizing teams to really lean into a new age and to be creative and innovative and lead with that sense of purpose. I mean, things are changing constantly. Gosh knows I know that. My organization knows that. But as long as a leader has a sense of vision and has a sense of purpose, no matter what changes happen, you stay true to that. And the other thing, as I mentioned before, is really coming at everything with a sense of energy and bringing that energy, either multiplying that energy, channeling that energy, creating that sense of energy with your team so they are along the ride with you. It's one thing to have a vision and a purpose, but if your teams are not following suit, you go nowhere. So those are the two main elements: having a sense of vision and purpose, and then having a sense of energy in order to ride out and ensure that you're ready for success no matter what happens in the environment around you.